Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, dear Rotary friends. One welcome to the Rotary Club of Abuja, Jabi, Lakeside, the lake. We welcome you to a weekly meeting. I am Goheme, the president, the 8th president. Honored to have you with us. Over the course of this Rotary year, the pandemic has allowed us to meet online. It gave me and other Rotarians worldwide the opportunity to interact and make lifelong friends. I sit in the comfort of my home or office and I chat or talk to Rotarians from India, Kenya, Uganda, USA, Ghana, Pakistan, South Africa, Benin, to name a few. I virtually walk into any fellowship of my choosing. How wonderful. June is Fellowship Month, and today we celebrate the spirit of fellowship amongst us and keeping it alive. Our club holds 2 physical meetings, virtual meetings, 1 Zoom meeting and 1 WhatsApp meeting. This is subject to change in the next Rotary year. Today's meeting is our last Zoom meeting for the year. I thank friends and guests of our speaker, Rotarian Dr. Samuel Lee Hancock. I call him my real Uncle Sam. It's a pleasure to have you with us today, sir, for coming en masse to fellowship with us today. It is my hope that we will all have a splendid and memorable time with the Lakers today. Thank you. So Rotarian Judge, IPP Judge, are you there? IPP Judge is our Sergeant at Arms for today's meeting. So I'll call on President, the fellow President, the Trailblazer President, John Omoson of the Rotary Club of Ministers Hill, to please give us the object of Rotary.
Yeah, they call me Kai. Good evening, my Rotary presidents, my district leaders present, Uncle Sam, my immediate past president, fellow Rotarians, district officers from all over the world, and District 9125 as well. My name is John Omosun. I'm the president for the Rotary Club of Abuja Ministers Hill.
My president, can you hear us?
25, and I'll be taking us on the object of Rotary. Can you hear me? Hear me?
Hello.
Yeah, I can
President
hear you.
John.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
President John, we can't hear you.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Please
Hello,
speak
President
up.
John.
Yes, I can hear you.
Speak up. Some of us can hear you. Just speak on.
Okay.
Can anyone hear me?
Okay. I'm sorry for the break in transmission. The object of Rotary is to encourage and foster the ideal of service as a basis of worthy enterprise, and in particular, to encourage and foster, first, the development of acquaintance as an opportunity for service, high ethical standards in business and professions, the recognition of the worthiness of all useful occupations, and the dignifying of each Rotarian's occupation as an opportunity to serve society. Third, the application of the ideal of service in each Rotarian's personal, business, and community life. Fourth, the advancement of of international understanding, goodwill, and peace through a world fellowship of business and professional persons, united in the idea of service. The object of Rotary, my president and fellow Rotarians.
Thank you, President John, for the object of Rotary. I'll share the four-way test now. All right, that was the four-way test. PPVJ, are you with us?
Yes, I am very much here.
Okay, so I want you on standby to introduce our speaker, Dr. Samuel Lee Hancock, to the House.
Yeah, thank you, President Yuva, my Rotarian friends. It's a pleasure to welcome our very own Uncle Sam, Dr. Samuel Hancock. He's a very good friend. Dr. Samuel Hancock is the President and Executive Director of Emerald Planet International, and he's also the Executive Producer, host of Emerald Planet television production, aka the Emerald Planet TV, with its headquarters at Washington, D.C. He is also the member of Rotary Club of Washington, D.C. The Emerald Planet International Foundation is in collaboration with Pan-African Association NGO in consultative status with United Nations Economic and Social Council as a 501 tax-exempt organization. Dr. Hancock has been invited to, and he regularly participates in United Nations conferences and seminars at the UN headquarters at New York, also at the UNESCO headquarters in Paris, France, and was also an official delegate at the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and other environmental, cultural, and social developmental meetings and conferences. Dr. Hancock is providing professional services on creation of the agenda for the United Nations Conference on Sustainable Development in the areas of sustainable food, clean water, sanitation, and energy production in both developed and emerging market nations, including scalable small to medium size enterprises. He is also the president of Hancock International, a global investment and exports company, which includes activities like identifying, organizing, coordinating, managing, delivering, and evaluating the work of international project teams, technical specialists, manufacturers, and funding sources of projects in 98 nations over his professional career. Dr. Hancock International is America's full-service international business development firm specializing in entry and strategies, government relations, investment, joint ventures, marketing and advertising, and training and translations for the Far East, Eurasia, and the Middle East and Africa. Dr. Hancock has also earned a doctorate in management with special concentrations in international economics, management information systems, political science, and leadership with Virginia Polytechnic Institute and State University, Virginia Tech, Blacksburg, Virginia. He is a certified professional manager through the Institute of Certified Professional Managers located in campus of James Madison University, Virginia. He is also providing education courses and on-site management for leadership, supply chain, operational systems, financial resources, to name a few. He has also had a special MBA and postdoctorate courses through the international examination program of the Institute of Certified Professional Management. With this small interview, friends, I would like to present to you Dr. Samuel Hancock, Akka, Uncle Sam. Sir, the floor is yours.
It's good to see everyone here, and thank you very much for joining us in Abuja, Nigeria. And it's by the grace of Zoom that we can all meet together like this and go around the world. And I know President Nancy is here from our club, the Rotary Club of Washington, D.C. We're in the Special District 7620. And it's been a very busy year for her. And just like your President Yuwa, it's been a very busy year for you. And Shamila, you're here as a president, and it's just amazing. And we have a number of past presidents that are with us as well. I'm going to see if I can get the share screen, and let me see here. Yeah. Give me just a minute. Let me see, Yuwa, do you have the PowerPoint there? Let me see if I can bring it up on share screen. And let me get my little note here. Okay, maybe I have it. Let's see. Anyway, this is really going to be about Rotary, its opportunities and lasting friendships. This is the last meeting that they have here with the this very special club, Abuja, Jabi, Lakeside, called the Lakers. And we were actually introduced to this club by past President George Hemba, who was then president of the Abuja Ministers Hill. And we came to George through the Russia, USA, ICC, and also the Rotary ICC Russia programs. And it's amazing how we've been able to mix and mingle, meet people all across the globe during this very serious lockdown and pandemic that we've had. So it's wonderful that we can all be together. But looking at the opportunities and lasting friendships, this is something that we want to be able to share. And let me see if I can put this on the special screen here. There we go. The whole thing about what we're doing as far as the Emerald Planet TV, this is something that we've been collaborating with Rotary clubs really across the globe. And out of about the 3,000 different Rotary programs that we've actually put on, probably about 40% of the guests that we've had are in the world of Rotary. We've had people from 103 different countries, and we keep expanding on a week-to-week basis about what's called the green best practices. And so it's very important that we continue on with that. So this is our logo, the Emerald Planet International Foundation. It's a 501c3 approved through the IRS in the United States. And we have the Emerald Planet TV and other organizations. And about us, we actually really on a day-to-day basis, because of Zoom, are able to go all over the globe and see what is actually happening there. And then to be able to do the interviews through Zoom. At one time we were using Skype, we've moved to Zoom, and now we have what's called whereby.com out of Norway, and that's a special software that's made for television programs. This will give you an idea of the scale and scope of Emerald Planet TV. We've been across the globe a number of times, and actually through the International Fellowship of Yachting of Rotary, we're looking at to probably try to go to about 70 to 100 countries, which will finish up putting me in every country on the planet through the yachting fellowship. And so we'll go port to port and do the interviews of what's going on as far as the Operation Plastic Free Waters and various cleanups, but also to go onshore and work with the onshore clubs and the various green projects that they're doing there. So let's get into really what today is all about. This is really to celebrate President Yua's year at the Rotary Club of Abuja, Jabi, Lakeside, and the others that are here with us. But the whole thing about the motto of service above self, this is something that's critically important to the vision, the mission, the activities of Rotary International, is that we really cannot do things by ourselves. And we're finding that out more and more as we now have a planet with almost 8 billion people. By 2038, they say it may be as many as 9 billion people on planet Earth. And so what we want to do is through service above self to really be able to share the energies, the talents, the resources that we have in every location, but do it on an equal basis. I think this is something that's very important, that you have the over 100-year-old clubs in the United States, also the United Kingdom and some other countries. But at the same time, we have an African continent, Southeast Asia, that's growing at a very rapid rate and have many new clubs. So the youth, the energy of the membership of these clubs on the African continent, Latin America, across the Caribbean, and even the South Pacific is just amazing. And so it's this service above self, which allows us to all work together. And of course, we know about, and I'll mention briefly about the global grants, how the service above self transcends districts, transcends clubs, and using the ICCs, the intercountry committees, to actually greatly expand what we're doing in abroad. The four-way test is something that's near and dear to all of us. You're saying, well, in this end of the year presentation, we've seen this numerous times, but this is something that really is to the heart of who and what we are, is the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? And this is something that we really can't see this enough. I know in many clubs in the United States, either they don't say it or they may not even have it posted because it's assumed that we already know this. But the thing I like about the newer clubs is they don't make that assumption, and we shouldn't be doing it either, is that we need to all renew this pledge as far as truth, fairness, goodwill, better friendships, and is it beneficial really on a week-to-week, day-to-day, hour-to-hour basis. Getting to the essence of Rotary, we all have, this is the hierarchy of needs: psychological, physiological, all those things, safety. But we get to this area of love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. And when we look at the essence of Rotary, this is where we really are in today's world. And when Rotary President Yuma asked me if I would come on, I said I would be happy to, because I think this is something that we really need to build upon, is these three higher levels as far as the essence of each of us as human beings. And if we can do that, because one of the big pushes today is world peace as far as Rotary is concerned. And there are many among us here and also other places that realize that we have to really have this world peace, but it's going to come through love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. And these are the essence of being human beings, and at the same time of being open and willing to and encourage and invite others to be part of what we're doing, just like we're doing with Zoom right now, covering at least 4 continents, maybe 5, and many different countries and many Rotary clubs as well. But this whole thing is, most Rotarians have moved well beyond these physical, psychological needs, the safety areas, and we get into these higher areas as far as what is really important to us. And it really goes to the core of Rotary and Rotaract and Interact clubs, which are in the high schools, and we sponsor all of those. So going to the whole essence of relationships and having long-term friendships through the auspices of Rotary and the networks of Rotary, gets to these areas, the really core ways that we can move forward into the future. And one is being transparent. Are we willing to learn from each other, to share, and at the same time, to really look at how we can share more of ourselves, not looking at Rotary as something that's just there for us to be able to take from, but of course, with service above self, we want to constantly be giving out to others. Authentic. How can we be authentic with all those around us? I know that Nagione is everywhere on planet Earth, I think, just like VJ that's with us, and working with different clubs and supporting different movements. And through this, both of them, and then also Mark from North Carolina, sharing our true selves. And then how do we take that authenticity and leverage that so that we are actually reaching out to more and more people and bringing them into the world of Rotary, because Rotary is a way forward, going back to this notion of world peace, that we can do it. And again, transparent, authentic, and then generous. Rotary is definitely generous. We give tens of millions, billions actually, of aid all over the planet, investment in local communities, helping to strengthen both families and the communities in which they live. And I think that's one of the things that we really have as far as Rotary, that it is generous. And the giving that's gone on to, like, the country of India, and trying to help with the pandemic there, and the horrendous toll it's taking on our dear friends, not only just Rotarians, but all the citizens of India. And Rotary has reached out to everyone there, not just within the ones within our own organization. Is it fun? This is the whole thing. Is it really fun? And this is one of the ways that is very important, that we really have a good time in what it is that we're doing. Are we empathetic? Do we like to share and learn more about the emotions, the feelings, the experiences of others around us? And this is critically important that we do that. And then do we want to be the exception? Do we want to be in the world of excellence? And that's probably even a better term than the exception. Do we want to be in the world of excellence? And I think among everyone here, through the dedication you have as far as the offices that you've held in the past, the ones that you're taking on in the future, that we really do work in the realm of excellence. So transparent, authentic, generous, fun, empathetic, excellence. These are all traits that I think that we have among Rotarians. And whether you go to a club in Tokyo, Japan, or Shanghai, China, or in Durban, South Africa, or right in Abuja, Nigeria, or downtown Washington, D.C., I think you'll find Rotarians have elements in great measure of all of these, and that's what's very important. This I saw and I thought was really appropriate for this. Today is not just another day. It's a new opportunity, another chance, a new beginning. Embrace it. And I think as Rotarians, this is something we're doing, but more than that, we're bringing this into the communities. We're having a work day at Eastern Senior High School, over in Southeast Washington, D.C. It's a work day through City Blossoms. And everyone's working together. Will be youth and adults, teachers and parents all coming together and actually embracing this one experience. There's literally, thousands of these are going to go on a day-to-day basis. And we have the opportunity to embrace everybody that's in this collaborative. And we do it hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of times on a day-to-day basis through Rotary. A friend of mine who's a very famous mural artist has a motto: it's never too late for a happy childhood. And I think of that on a day-to-day basis, never too late for a happy childhood. So we just are starting over again and again and again. This is something I thought was really cute. Actually, this I borrowed some of this, others I've changed quite a bit, but 6 kid-tested ways to build lasting friendships. And this goes back to you, President Uwa, and what you're doing there with the Lakers and Abuja, is that we need to really look back to our childhood. There's a book very famous some decades ago. It was about everything we learned by kindergarten. I don't know if anybody here remembers that book, but it's very sweet, very cute. And the things that we have here, these 6 ways, and I've added a 7th, of course, join Rotary, but be together and share. And that's something that our President Nancy was talking about earlier, about we're going to have this hybrid program now with our Rotary Club of Washington, D.C., Zoom, so we can keep having virtually everybody that's here today be with us. And also a number of the members would like to get back together face to face. But we've been able to, in essence, be together and share through Zoom. And now we'll have a chance to be together and share face to face. And I think having both of these, Zoom, the virtual world, and the fact of being together back at our university club in downtown Washington, D.C., is a very good thing. And I think we have a mix of that here with everybody that's in front of us. Be consistent. This is something that's very important, and you find the really successful Rotarians and most of the people actually that join Rotary are very consistent. They have the principles of success. They have the principles of friendship. They have the principles of being accepting and being inclusive. And you have to do this on a day-to-day basis. So being consistent really is very, very important. The third is forgive and forget readily. I think this is something that's probably the most important. Everybody, thinks we know everything, we're doing everything, we're so engaged that, we're the, whatever our position is within Rotary, within our community. But we have to realize that we all make mistakes on a day-to-day basis. And our Rotarian friends and our supporters, have to forgive us too, because sometimes we get busy. We get involved in projects. We have landed maybe several global grants, which takes a great amount of time to manage. And so people need to forgive us and forget readily for our little boo-boos we have day to day. Let everyone have a turn. I think this really goes to allowing as many people within the Rotary Fellowship that we have in our clubs to have an opportunity to have an office, to be a chairman of a committee, to have their equal voice with everyone else within our organization. And so letting everyone have a turn, I think, is very, very important. And of course, in our club, you have to be in the chain, the progression, in order to get to the top levels of the president, vice president, and others. And I think that's very important. But again, we're always having everybody take their turn. Welcome everyone equally. This is something that we need to be very inclusive, and that's why I'm using this image in front of us, We need to be as inclusive of all those in our society as possible. And I think this is something that Rotary has opened up. Rotary certainly has opened up as far as the growth and development in Asia, the Latin America, on the African continent, and other regions of the world. And I think this has been good because we have these established clubs in North America and some in Asia and Europe, of course. But we need the whole world. There's 214 countries and territories, and we need to have clubs in every one of these countries and territories and let them all participate on an equal basis. Ask questions, then listen. This is something I added this in here because my grandfather, when I was about 8 or 9 years old, we were out fishing together, and the river runs right through our ranch, Southwest Virginia. And I don't know why he did this, but anyway, something. But he bent down, looked me straight dead in my eyes and said, the way you're going to be successful and make it in life is that you're going to have to ask lots of questions and then be quiet. So obviously I was bugging him about something and not listening. And, only as a grandfather can do, he looked me in the eyes and said, ask questions, but you need to be listening to others. And that's something I think I say that on a day-to-day basis because it made a huge impression on me. Special bonus, of course, is join Rotary. And we all need to be actively recruiting new members. I know that we've done actually very well through the pandemic to bring new members into the Rotary Club of Washington, D.C. And I know that in many areas of the world, Rotary is growing quite nicely, and we need to be bringing more and more people in. And the one thing we have in Washington, D.C., when you talk to new people in other places, they're saying, I'm too busy. I travel internationally, before the pandemic, all these things. So anybody that says, I'm too busy to be in Rotary, I said, that's exactly why you need to be in Rotary, because you're leveraging everything that you're doing. So I think I've just about run out of my time. This is about the fellowship and opportunities, President Ewa. I do have some slides in here about some of the television programs we've done about the African continent, which I can share in a few minutes. But I just wanted to see if there's any questions that anybody would like to ask about any of this, or just Rotary in general. This is I believe, President Nancy, you looked it up for me, 38th or 39th year in Rotary. And so it's I've been in Rotary a long time, but again, like everything else, we're learning day to day. And of course, going to Zoom and not having in-person meetings, that was a big change for everyone, I believe. So let me, President Ewa, if you're here, I'll turn it back to you and see if there's any questions. And if you want, we can talk about some of the television programs and how that relates back to everyone here, and how that we can actually feature the green projects. We do this as a public service, so we never charge for any of the television programs that we do, but there's no other program we know on planet Earth that's doing what we're doing, because we only focus on the best practices. We only focus on the solutions. And I think that's very important, because we have everybody pontificating about what all the problems are, what everybody else is not doing. We have very few people are saying, this is what's actually being done. These are the changes that are happening in these communities across the entire globe. And so we need to have more and more of the Emerald Planet TV types of programs. So I'll turn it back and see if there are any questions.
Thank you very much, Uncle Sam, for this very comprehensive and spot-on presentation. The room is open for questions for Uncle Sam or comments afterwards, but we'll take questions first. So you can indicate by a show of hand and we'll unmute you to speak.
Yes, Shannon, you can ask your question.
Hello, thank you, Dr. Hancock. It's nice to see you on the East Coast. I'm over here on the
Yes, I know. Good to see you again. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you. I was just curious. I put that question in the chat, but I'm just wondering how easy it is for your club to stay non-political in fellowship and other pursuits, given your location.
Well, we are in a very political town, so I mean that's a very astute question that you ask. But among Rotarians, people really are respectful of the opinions and thoughts and feelings of others. This is something I find amazing. I've probably physically been in about 500 clubs over the 48 years around the globe. And I find that universal is that people leave the politics and also religion at the door. And I think that's very important because no matter what your background is, no matter your ethnicity, color, social standing, your profession, educational levels, is that everybody has value. And I think that's one of the things that I wanted to bring out about, the time-tested truths that kids can learn and share with us is that we just need to be inclusive of everyone else. And in these times where things seem to be becoming more polarized and you have opposite factions pulling even entire countries in different directions, if anything, right now we need to be more inclusive, but more sensitive to everyone around us. And this is something I think Rotary is working hard at. It's doing a good job, but it can always do better. And I think that's something that by having including and the rapid growth and the young nature of many of the clubs, again, on the African continent and Asia, Latin America, even the South Pacific, I think that's infusing the more mature clubs in North America and Europe and a few of the countries in Asia we have to have this dynamic mix. And as we move through the 21st century, it's only going to get more dynamic. And so, Shannon, thank you for asking that question. It's a very good one.
EDG Tony, you can ask your question, please.
Dr. Hancock.
Hey, Tony.
Again, thank you so much for your presentation. And very nicely answered the last question. My question to you is, sir, that as a Rotarian of 30 plus years standing and a wonderful job you're doing, you must have been very much elated to see the 7th area of focus of Rotary, which starts officially on the 1st of July.
Right.
Now, I'm aware of your Emerald Planet TV and confess I haven't yet watched it. But what I'd like to know is, do you have plans of featuring some of Rotary projects on Emerald TV?
That's one of the reasons that I really started back. We had our first broadcast June the 21st, 2009. And actually I had a Rotarian on that very first program, and he just so happens to be our president-elect for my club. And so that was 2 decades ago he first came on. And we had a very mixed audience. We had African American. We had a gentleman from Korea. My good dear friend Bill Dent, who is the president-elect and will be taking over from President Nancy just in the next few days, actually. And so we've probably, out of the about 3,000 shows that we've done, Tony, I would say a good 1,000 of those at least feature Rotarians. And these are the best practices and solutions. And one of the things that we've been promoting through the ICC movement, and I'll be on that this Thursday, actually the 10th, will be the kickoff as far as the conference before the convention of Rotary International, the ICC's 2 days, the 10th and 11th, talking about this very point. That it is very exciting, Tony, as you're saying, that this is the 7th major area of Rotary. But if you look at it, it's actually interlaced with all the other 6. And so you can't do the environment if people don't have a way to have jobs, education, healthcare, all these other things, which are part of, you know, the other six, because they're not really going to care about it. But if you're not taking the other six and embedding, you know, support of the environment in that, we may not exist as a planet anyway. And Rotary is truly can take leadership worldwide for the environment.
Thank you, Dr. Sam. But may I take you up on what you've just said?
Okay.
Rotarians have been working with the environment since ever I can remember. And I've been in Rotary just over 30 years, not as long as you, but just over 30 years.
Right.
And I believe that the move to make the environment an area of focus is deliberate marketing on the Rotary side, because unless you tell people you're dealing with the environment, they can't look behind the other 6 areas of focus.
Right.
Therefore, it needs to be said, it needs to be identified. And with your history, I'm looking, how can we leverage what you have learned globally with a 7th area of focus? And maybe that's another conversation for another day. So
no, actually, I'd be glad to answer that right now, because you know, Rotary, actually, if you go all the way back to Paul Harris himself, you know, what they were doing in Chicago, some of those very early projects were with it, you know, we would consider them today with the environment, working with school parks and helping the city parks and you know, water, sanitation, these types of things. You know, these came in the very early days of Rotary International. And I think what we need to do is that we need to just keep articulating and take the leadership within our communities, but we need to do a much better job. And I think, Tony, you really, you hit on a touchstone in that whole thing, is that we need to be much more aggressive and proactive of letting the communities know what we are doing in the environment. And as I've been very much involved with the Russia USA ICC, and we're starting to now interact with the Russian clubs, because those are small clubs. They have small projects, say in forestry or environmental education, whatever it may be. As far as the Emerald Planet TV, we don't really care about the size and the scale of the project, because if you get small scale and people see it, as we say, 10,000 other communities can look at that and say, hey, that's something we can do. If they can do it, we can do it. And so our whole thing is about practical, hands-on projects, not just talk, not just research, but projects. And I think if now that we actually have this articulated as the environment, we can really start touting this much more and get it out to the public. And that was a very, very good question.
Sorry, I must just take one more thing. Sorry for everybody.
All right, okay.
But we started the Rotary Eco Parks of Excellence program. I'm not sure if you've heard of it.
I have not.
Right. So basically, the background is we started a project called the Indus Peace Park, and that's going to be 2 parks on either side of the border. Each park will be an individual eco park of excellence, where we're looking at the environment, the energy being renewable. So the first one, we've just applied for a global grant to be in India, and we envisage, once that's done, that we will put Rotary eco parks of excellence in every city in the world where there's a Rotary club. It's a long-term project,
right?
But it's going to showcase Rotary caring for our planet. That's the whole idea. I will send you the documentation in due course.
Yeah, well, I'd love to see it. And be sure wherever you put these parks, you have big placards there. Now, Natalie is
prerequisite.
Yeah, Natalie, are you still on? She and I are working on the Peace Poles project. She's here. And this is between specifically Moscow and Washington, D.C., but there's peace poles all across the world. And so, Natalie, what we need to do is talk with Tony about the work he's doing with these eco parks of excellence and start incorporating the peace poles, Tony, if that would be of interest to you in that, because then you'd have peace poles in the UK or Wales or Scotland, you know, the various parts of the kingdom and in India. And so all these things really do help as far as linking people. You look at a peace pole, it's not very big, it's not very flashy, but at the same time, it has real meaning. And so the purpose of it is to have a symbol there, say in an Armenia, in a Georgia, in a Ukraine, all these other places. And it looks like we have a peace pole coming right there. Natalie, look at this. Okay.
Wonderful. Yeah, yes, Dr. Sim, I thought about that, about Europe. Yes, we can move to that direction also.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
fantastic. Yeah. And Natalie and I have been talking back and forth. The one between Moscow and Washington, D.C., we want to have two things that's going to be unique. One, it's going to be gorgeous. And I really like the looks of yours. That is very nicely done, Tony. And then also at the same time, because we have trees for the Capitol, and President Nancy has, when she was vice president, allowed us to expand the number of trees. We, week to week, we give a tree in honor of our speaker. And these get planted in the number of parks under the National Forest Service in Washington, D.C. And so what we want to do is incorporate now the peace poles and a peace grove. So instead of having, you know, trees planted like the cherry trees, which everybody in the world sees those on the tidal basin in downtown Washington, D.C. in springtime, we've paid for about 300 of those trees. We've planted over maybe now over 400 trees in Washington, D.C. in these parks. And now we want to have a grove concept, a peace pole like what you have there, Tony, very nicely done. And then 3 or 4 native species around it so that these grow together and the peace pole is protected, but also it becomes a center of excellence like you're talking about, but a natural attraction, if you will. And so this is fantastic. One, you shared about your project, and we're looking for new projects all the time. So we've been at 3,000. I want to go to 10,000 now, 10,000. So Tony, we can make yours, and everybody here in your clubs. The VJ is helping us to start identifying projects in India, and also our good friend who is Ms. Everywhere in the world. Natioli is actually already identified probably about 10 or 15 different projects. And I don't know if she's still here with us, but anyway, she's really been out there and trying to highlight these. And then Mark here from North Carolina has mentioned some of the green projects that's going on in his region. So we're open to that, and we've been doing projects. And if we have time, I'll show a couple of those slides after the questions, and that way people kind of make it real. And these are all on the African continent that we've been doing. And President George was one of our first. And I don't know if President George is still here, but he was fantastic. And you'll actually see his image in here. Any other questions?
No hands raised, so I'm guessing none.
Have I gone beyond my time?
So really,
okay.
Yes, please
VJ,
go right
VJ,
on to the next presentation.
Okay, VJ, can you minimize the screen here? You brought it up a while ago, and maybe President Ulwa, you can do that.
We are in a gallery mode anyhow. So you will just have to click on the view, and then you can see the gallery mode over there. You will have to click it on
click on view.
View and the gallery mode,
Not done this.
Yeah, it will come because she started screen sharing.
So I see. Okay, got it. Okay. Now, do I have to start screen share again, VJ?
No.
Okay.
President Yuva, your screen is not connecting.
There we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay, how do I get this on full screen? Oh, I got to do it from my
So this is from President Yuva screen.
Sorry, folks.
President, you need to stop the screen share, and then Dr. Sam.
Oh, it's not. Let me stop share so you can share.
Let me see how we got. VJ, can you help us, my friend?
Yes, President Yuva, can you just stop sharing?
I've stopped sharing so you can go ahead.
No, it's still connected. Yeah. Just a minute.
Because I think my slides are actually here and in the background. So.
Yeah, Dr. Sam, now you can connect your screen.
Okay. Now, do I click my share screen?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, here we go. I'm going to go to this one and share. Okay, here we are. Okay, thank you very much. Well, this is what we were talking about earlier. Tony, thank you for your question about these other areas, but supporting the environment is very important. And how we've been doing that since the 21st of June, 2009, is I was traveling the globe, very engaged, and I've been in 98 countries myself. But everything I was collecting was coming to me and not getting out there unless I would go and make a speech or a presentation or somewhere. And so that's what led to the Emerald Planet Television, is that we needed a much greater platform. And now we cover literally the whole globe. And then with PEG Media, which is for public education and the government, PEG, we have 160 million potential viewers each and every day. Now, this goes to the Abuja Ministers Hill Club, and this is creating a new generation of environmentalists for Nigeria, the African continent, and the world. These are fantastic projects. So they're doing tree planting. They have the institute there, project management. It's very involved in their club, very involved within the communities and with these youth. And so these are some best practices that we've actually covered on the Emerald Planet TV. This has been broadcast. It's actually up on our website. Mark, this is one of the programs I was telling you about the other day when you and I were talking on telephone. And this is in Kenya. And I don't believe we have any of our Kenyan Rotary members, but they are in the WASH, which is the Water, Sanitation, and Hygiene Rotary Action Group. And this is really about the future of water, sanitation, hygiene in East Africa. And they've done, I believe, about a total of 8 water projects. 4 of those featured, and we tried to take 4 very different projects. So one was a borehole and pumping water with solar for the Maasai people in Kenya. We had another one where they were actually diverting water out of a major river and then sending this into villages and putting it in storage tanks, filtering it. And for the first time, people didn't have to go 2.5 miles to the river to dip. They actually had the water right in their own community, and they could go to the tank, take their water, and walk back home. And it was going to be much more pure because they can sanitize it. So this is another. This was 4 very different projects, and one of these also was a rain capture and use project on a primary and middle school, and the school never had water before. They put in the gutters, captured the water, put it in large tanks, and now they were not using it for drinking, but for sanitation and hygiene, and also to have a gardening project. So sustainable nutrition came out of that. This is something quite unique. We're looking at what's called Africa's Titans, and it's only women that we're focused on. And these women are head of very large multinational construction companies. They were the owners of that. Others have nonprofits. We have a young lady, Awa Mary Khan, from Spain, who did her master's degree at Duke University in North Carolina. And we've done 2 programs with her. She has what's called Innovate Gambia and The Woman Boss. Guys, you better start quaking. The Woman Boss may be coming to a town near you, but she has about 1,000 women involved. And so what we're doing is that we're going to take, with George Himba from Abuja Ministers Hill, we're going to be collaborating in the Gambia on water projects, sanitation, and sustainable nutrition. And George is going to be part of that with Awa Mary and the Rotary, the 4 Rotary clubs. And I think he said now is about 7 Rotary clubs in the Gambia. But we've done television programs on these outstanding women as an example to young girls and teenagers. This is something else that we did. There's several here that are Rotarians, but this is all about trying to bring what's called a smart grid into Abuja itself. This is the ATV, Advanced Technology Village. And this is really, they're going to have about 800,000 people around this village. And it's a huge project. It's about 40 years to realize all of this. And so this is, so you can see the difference in size and scale. And we've done the television program about this very project and what it's going to mean. And this is the international cohort that's actually working on that project in downtown Abuja, where we are. And this is what this looks like. This is a rendering of this Abuja Industrial Park. Also, they're building a whole city within this brownfield development. And it's over almost 1,200 acres, 1,200 acres. So it's what, a roughly 580 plus or minus hectares in downtown Abuja. And so these are very different types of projects. It's about featuring the best practices. We really look for Rotary clubs and Rotarians that are involved in these best practices. And so we would love to work with your clubs, your districts, your zones, the ICCs within your area, that we could actually do this and have more and more of these kinds of projects. So President Yua, I'll put it back to you. I'll leave up the question sign in case anybody has any questions about the Emerald Planet TV. Again, we do it as a public service. And once we finish with the publications, we have 7 URLs. So we have the main program itself, 1 hour. We have 4 individual shows within it. And those are 13 minutes each. And then we publish those as full television programs themselves. Then we have podcasts, and then we have the full program and the individual shows on YouTube and then on Facebook. So multiple ways to have access to all of this. But we give you the URLs. So these projects that you saw here, you know, on the African continent, let's see if I can back up. Oops, going too fast. But each of these people have the URLs, and you can put it on your website. You can put it on your Facebook, on LinkedIn, anywhere you want it. We allow each organization, each individual to take these and use them in ways that's important to yourself and your local communities. So we're always looking for new ideas, and so that's what this is all about with the Emerald Planet TV.
Thank you. So, Uncle Sam, for your first presentation, I particularly liked your response to Shannon about, you know, leaving religion and social standing at the door. That's, I think, it's a recipe for peace and lasting friendship for clubs. And for your second presentation, I like what you're doing, sustainable projects. I'm hoping that the next year my club can key into this and several other clubs within the FCT.
I'm busted. What I didn't mention is that President Uwa has a project with a very large chief, and I think about 250,000 people live in this area right on the edge of Abuja. And so as soon as she finishes her year as president, she's going to be one of our new international TV stars, and we'll be featuring the chief of this particular. It's really a township. Very large area, and it's going to be environmental cleanup, clean water, sanitation, hygiene, and so all of that will be incorporated in one full television program, which will be 4 shows. And thank you for bringing that up.
Thank you. So please, if you have questions, raise your hand and we'll call on you to please ask your question. Time is fast spent, so we're trying to round up questions. Okay, Wangari, please ask your question.
No, mine is just a comment on the WASH project. We are one of the clubs, my club, Rotary Club of Milimani, is one of the clubs that has implemented the WASH project. And our past president was the head of the WASH project in the district. And so far so good, we've implemented 2, as I've stated on the chat, and we're implementing our 3rd. So the WASH project is still continuing. We're not only doing schools, we're also doing hospitals.
Hey, those would be great projects to feature on the Emerald Planet TV, and be happy to work with you. So you have my email address. If you can, in the subject line, be sure to put your name, reference today's program, and your WhatsApp number. We'll be back in touch with you about it. Our format to do the programs are very, very simple. We use whereby.com, which is a Norwegian software made for television interviews. And I'm sitting right in my virtual studio right here. We were shut down on the 12th of March, 2020. In 8 days, we did our first full television program in a virtual TV studio. So we've been at it ever since. So we've created 204 shows during the lockdown, and we just want to expand more and more. So Nagari, if you can send me an email at emeraldplanet1@gmail.com, identify yourself. We'd be happy to be in contact with you.
I'll definitely do that. Thank you.
And Tony, with your eco peace parks, do you have any of those that are already up, or is it still in the planning stage? Is Tony still here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, Sab.
Yes.
We have one in Kiev, which is nearly finished, and we're starting another one in India.
Okay. So we ought to chat. So do the same thing as Nigari. If you'll send me an email, and of course with that one, we'll try to get Natalie involved. She's here on the screen with me, because we really like to incorporate the peace polls, and I see yours. So you've gotten way ahead of us, but that's what Rotary is all about. And I like the looks of this one, Natalie. That's a very pretty one.
Yeah. Can you show Tony one? Please.
Okay, go ahead, Natalie.
How many languages? How many languages on it?
As many as you want. You can see the countries on the side. This comes from a school in East London, and every nationality that's in that school, they built this pole, and there you can see their flags. So that's my Rotary Club.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a different concept, Natalie. Not doing it in the languages, but using the flags and a number of emblems of Rotary. And of course, you have the peace dove there. That's a very good looking pole. I like that.
Yes.
And of course, these can be any height. So Tony, we could, even on yours, we could add, and back to Natalie, you could add the foreign languages at the base of that.
Right.
Because Peace Bowl can be, 8 feet, 10 feet, 12 feet, whatever we want to make it. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Tony. Thank you.
Natalie, it's a pleasure. I will send you some pictures by email.
Okay, that'd be fantastic. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? I've gone way over my time.
Yes.
Check, you may see another park.
For Montego Bay, they have donated 30 water tanks to government schools in their country. Rotary Club of Montego Bay, the Jamaica.
Oh, and that's from Dominica. Did she share that with us?
Yeah, I just posted that.
Yes.
One of our past presidents started it in his presidential year, and the consensus was not to just end it at the end of his year. We've continued. We've had a lot of sponsorship from clubs overseas, local companies, and other organizations. And I think it might be about 36. I haven't really.
That's
counted.
fantastic. Well, when I was there doing my doctoral research and actually working as a consultant, I went to many of the schools, and I know that water was a precious need in each of these places. So if you could send me that information, Dominica, I'll be glad to. Let's see if we can get together a television program about that. And we did one on Jamaica just the beginning of this year. And this is the essence of villages as businesses. And these are social enterprises that's coming through a special nonprofit in Manchester that started this. So we need to link them up with you and what you're doing, Dominica. But if you can send me an email and you have my information.
Yes, if you could put your email address in the chat, I'll write it down and I'll.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I can email you a lot of details about this particular project.
Let's see.
Dominica, I will share it with you otherwise.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, all right. Yes.
President Ibrahim, past President Ibrahim Mamudu.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
What do you want me to do?
You raised your hand earlier. Do you have a question?
He has already attended to my question.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you. Richard and Shannon, please go ahead.
Sorry, my question had to do with, now that we have this 7th Avenue of focus of the environment, it makes my club kind of reconsider how we address local environmental things that we do, such as our beach cleanups. So Huntington Beach is a huge tourist destination, and so the cleanliness of our beaches is critical. Would you consider that environment, or is that still community service? And
environment is community service. Community service is environment. So we don't separate them. We have, in politics, they talk about the big tent. So in the environment, we're the big tent. So things that are going to really change the lives. In other words, like we have what we call green public health. We have green law. We even have green financing. And if it addresses in some ways, it has a green hook, and what you're doing on your beach cleanup is definitely environment, community service, and 5 or 6 other things too. So that's a great project.
Do you think that clubs that have local projects that are like that should try to find something that's complementary on an international scale, or should we be open to doing something that is more of a direct support of an established program in another country? Like how would you go about finding something that's a good international environmental project for a club?
Yeah. I think it really is going to be based on the personality of your club. The Rotary Club of Washington, D.C., we're totally internationalized. We have several global grants going simultaneously. Plus, we have, I think this year, we got 37 local community grants that are out. And many of these are in the environment, many other areas. So I really think Shannon, it's based on the number of members of the club, how active they want to be. If they're really focused locally, I think that's perfectly fine. That's the nature of Rotary, that you as a club define what you want to do and how you want to do it. But this is something I will mention, the third Tuesday of every month, and we have one coming up on the 15th, Shab Alawar has started what's called the International Global Grants Project, International Global Grants Projects Fair, sanctioned by Rotary, but it's standalone from Rotary. So if you're doing global grants submissions, you continue the same way you normally would do with Rotary International, but this also is a very compressed, condensed one night. It's about 3 hours. And what he does, he has what's called matchinggrants.org. You submit, you get a global grants number from matchinggrants.org. You show up on, that third Tuesday. And it's very open. It's an open forum. Everybody who has projects, those who don't have projects, but they have money that they would like to invest in projects. And the third category is I'm looking for partners. I don't mean me personally, but I'm a Rotary Club. I'm looking for partners. So you have this mix all in the same night. You have these applications. People can go in and see the applications in advance of that Tuesday night and say, I want to meet the people from these 3 projects. And it may be an African continent. It could be in South Pacific. Could be somewhere in Asia. And they get to know each other face to face through Zoom. And then the convention that's going to be in Houston next year, they're going to do the same thing, but they're going to have like 6 months of gathering all this. And there's going to be a central site for this International Global Grants Projects Fair. And it's going to go on through the whole convention. And so everybody there will be able to have, again, these 3 elements. We've applied for the global grants. We're going to put some money from our club, hopefully from our district. We have others that would like to be involved, but either they're a small club or they've never done a global grant or a project internationally before. And then the third one is that we'd like to have 5 other clubs who would work with us on this big project. Example of that is Nepal, the great Himalayan trail. It's 508 miles tip to tip, and there'll be about 1,000 communities that'll be impacted. So this is like a 30, 40-year project. And so it's going to take lots of clubs, lots of districts, many zones, and ICCs to do that. So Shannon, so you have all sizes. You may have a tree planting project, in a city park somewhere, saying like the Kiev came up earlier. Tony was talking about. We're working on a project with the Rotary Club of Manila, which is our sister club, because we're the America's National Capital Club. My particular club, Rotary Club of Washington, D.C. That's going to be a 50,000 acre forest that's going to be planted through Rotary. And that's going to be in the green space. So you can have a city park, like we have Farragut Park that Natalie and I are working on, Peace Pole in Moscow, one in Washington, D.C. This would be the first park, as I would propose. Or, on the island of Mindanao in South Philippines, huge, it'll be 50,000 acres. And everything in between. So, and the exciting thing about getting up every morning with Emerald Planet and Emerald Planet TV, every hour it's a different country, a different project, different people, different even continents. And I hate to go to sleep because I'm always afraid I'm going to miss something. So if I could stay awake 24 hours a day, I would, but I have to get my 7 hours, and so I make myself do it.
Do you think that Rotary and the clubs themselves should be doing more as public relations for the greater, for our greater communities, so that they know more about us, so that we could, I just feel like when I joined Rotary 14 years ago, the service above self motto kind of meant that we don't really brag about all the fantasticness that we are. But I feel like we are kind of late to the game, and we kind of need to start to, your Emerald Planet is going to do so much for us, but I'm wondering what you think clubs should be doing at the local level too.
The short answer is yes. And then the other short answer is yes. And the third short answer is yes. Yes, yes, yes. We need to be talking about what we're doing. We need to be directly engaged with local media. So President Uwa, am I putting you to sleep or wearing you out? You want me to keep going? You want me to stop? You're muted.
We need to go faster. Time is fast spent.
Okay, all right. I understand that. But what we're talking about with the yachting group is that we'll do the daily television programs on the yachts. This is to Shannon's question. And then we want to go what we call onshore and look at all the green projects. But when we arrive, the first group that we're going to meet besides Rotary are all the media. So that would be newspapers, radio, TV, and social media. We're planning this actually for Nigeria. I need to send that proposal to you, Yowa. But the Niger and Benue rivers, we've been asked to put together a proposal, and that would be a 3-month project, 3 months to go tip to tip, you know, in Nigeria and all the way out to the Atlantic Ocean. We want to, and I did this in India 2 years ago, and it was fantastic. We did 32 TV shows, 8 states, the 2 major cities, Mumbai and New Delhi and others, and the media loved it. And but because they never had an international media person talk to them about, come out and be with us and let's do the interviews and feature Rotary. And they just thought it was a fantastic idea. So.
Very interesting conversation with you today, real Uncle Sam. I'll have past President Ibrahim from the Rotary Club of Abuja, Jabi, Lakeside appreciate you on behalf of the Lakers. PP Ibrahim.
Thank you, my club president. On behalf of the board, members of Rotary Club Abuja, Jabi, Lakeside, on behalf of Rotary Club Jabi, Lakeside, we want to sincerely appreciate our guest speaker, Dr. Uncle Sam, for the lucid and inspiring lecture. I must say we have been greatly imparted and we put it into practice. We sincerely thank you. I hope to see you physically. Thanks you and God bless you. Thank you, my co-president.
Thank you very much, PP Ibrahim. Thank you, my real Uncle Sam. So going right ahead, IPP Judge, are you with us? It's time for the Sergeant at Arms to perform. So I will just go ahead and put the account details in the chat box while we're waiting on the Sergeant at Arms.
And President Uwa, if you could just make a recap of the various contact points and what they may like, if you can send those to me, we'll get those processed. Probably take about a week or so, but we'll get them processed. Follow up with everybody.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
No, I don't mind. I'll get back to you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yes. So I think we've lost.
I think we've lost connection.
Judge,
I think President Uwa was gone offline.
Oh, she's back.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Good.
Yeah, I'm back. Okay. So I think we lost IPP Judge, but for donations to charity, please find the details in the chat box. the club account. So on behalf of my club, I want to sincerely thank all Rotarians from India, USA, Jamaica, Pakistan, Ghana, Uganda. Am I missing any country? There are lots of countries.
You got Russia in there too with
Russia,
Natalie.
Yes, okay, from the UK, Sri Lanka. Thank you.
We had Kenya also, Wangari, Kenya.
Yes, Kenya. I think I mentioned, sorry if I forgot that, but Kenya, I mentioned Kenya. Thank you all so much. You've made our online meetings the past 1 year awesome and interesting. It is always a pleasure to have you here with us. And this may be our last Zoom meeting, but I know I will still meet you in other clubs and we'll continue to fellowship online after this Rotary year. Officially, this is my last Zoom meeting that you would be seeing me physically. My next virtual meeting is a WhatsApp meeting. That way we only get to chat. So I am glad, I am so thankful you all attended my last Zoom meeting.
Well, I want to give you applause for the work you've been doing. I think everybody needs to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Uncle Sam. Thank you so much.
It's an honor to serve all of you. Sorry, Ibrahim. Ibrahim.
What did you say?
No, you were saying something.
No, I'm also joining Uncle Sam to appreciate your effort.
Thank you very much, my past president.
Yeah.
Well, we appreciate you. I'm really here for Rotarians, the Rotary clubs, the districts, the ICCs, all of Rotary. I've been involved. One of my first scholarships was from a Rotary club. I was 15 years of age in economics. Yeah. And so I've been affiliated with Rotary a long, long time.
I'm sure it inspired you to be a Rotarian.
No, it's fun. It's absolutely fun. That's why I threw fun in that one part. People think of Rotary as not so much fun, but it's fantastic fun.
Okay. So
all right.
I'll take the toast to all distinguished Rotarians here present. To the Federal Republic of Kenya, a toast to the Federal Republic of Kenya, a toast to Uganda, a toast to Ghana, a toast to the United States of America, a toast to Jamaica, a toast to the UK, a toast to Sri Lanka, a toast to Pakistan, a toast to
Russia.
Sorry, I keep forgetting Russia. A toast to Russia. A toast to India. They've been our biggest supporters since the beginning of this Rotary year. They come en masse for every Rotary meeting. Thank you so much, India. We appreciate you and we love you all. To the Federal Republic of Nigeria, to Rotary International, the organization that brings us all together in friendship. A toast to Rotary International. The pledge. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength, to defend her unity, and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God. This meeting is hereby adjourned to next Tuesday, a physical meeting. Thank you very much.